And don't forget to order your copy of Football Game Plan's latest book, Stiff Arming Football Myths, an excellent book that you can find on our website at footballgameplan.com/books, available in both PDF as well as paperback form.
Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 1 preview between the New York Giants and the Detroit Lions. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Giants.
Now for the Giants in this ball game, maintaining gap integrity will be key versus Detroit. You can't allow Reggie Bush to find that cutback lane, to find that seam, because he can take the distance. And they have to win on the inside offensively. They have a huge task this week going up against Ndamukong Suh and Nick Fairley. They have to get those guys blocked if they want to have success. And they have to match up in the secondary. That's going to be key in how well they do. I actually like what they bring to the table as far as cornerbacks and safety personnel is concerned. I think they can match up versus Detroit, and they're going to have to do that if they want to have some success on defense. And for the Lions, I'm going to be watching how well Jim Caldwell and Matt Stafford work together in unison, not only for this ball game, but for the rest of the season. I think he has to be able to take the ball out of Stafford's hands situationally. 4-minute offense, 2-minute offense, put the ball in the belly of your backs. I think that's where they can have some success. I think overall, if Stafford is able to protect the football, I think Caldwell will help him do that. The Lions will be much better as a whole in 2014. And defensively, I would keep my hands up at the line of scrimmage. Eli Manning flatlines a lot of passes, which means they're going to have a lot of opportunity to get batted passes, which could result into interceptions. Keep those hands up and stay active at the line of scrimmage. And I will go with mostly a single high look versus the Giants. I think what you're going to see is them try to attack the short and intermediate zones, and you can even tilt your free safety toward wherever Victor Cruz is aligned and take your chances with those other wide receivers. But I will go with mostly a single high look, put that extra guy in the box in that short to intermediate area to help yourself be in better position to slow down the Giants passing game.
The New York Giants can have some success running the football versus the Detroit Lions. I think one way they can take advantage of an over-aggressive defensive interior is by whamming the one tech or the shade, and which would be Ndamukong Suh in this matchup. Now, this would be an almost ideal situation for the Giants, and I like the fact that they can spread the field now, and you're going to put your tight end right here in the slot, keeping the linebacker here. Now, if they see this formation, this type of front, I think they have a great chance in whamming right there in Ndamukong Suh up the field, inviting pressure and hitting a big play in the running game with Rashard Jennings or even Andre Williams. So here's how we're going to block this up front. You're going to have your tackle. He's going to work past that defensive end to try to get this outside linebacker block. We're going to have the 3 technique get kicked out by the guard. We're going to have the center work up to the Mike backer. Again, we're trying to influence Ndamukong Suh up the field so we can wham him with the tight end. We're going to have the play side guard get that Mike backer, and we're going to have the backside tackle kick out that defensive end. Obviously, your receivers are going to go block the next threat, which will be the guy that is in front of them. And we're going to put the tight end in motion as the cadence starts to wind down. At the snap of the ball, his job is to wham Ndamukong Suh right there. Eli Manning reverses out, hands the football off here. Back should be able to run the daylight, make that one guy miss, and there's your big play in the running game. So again, you want to take advantage of over-aggressive defensive linemen, so you want to try to calm that pressure by influencing those guys up the field. You can run traps, whams, different ways you can get those guys to calm that pressure to where they're starting to watch and not rush upfield. If the Giants can do that, they can have a big game running the football versus Detroit.
Now, here are some in-game adjustments for the Lions you want to watch for in this ball game. You want to pay close attention to the right side of the Lions' offensive line, Larry Walford and also Adrian Waddle, 2 guys that are solid players going against a Giants defensive line that can really bring it off the edge. Keep an eye on the right side of the Lions offensive line. You also want to look out for the offensive balance. Can they strike that balance with the running game and the passing game? I think if they can run the football with effectiveness like we know they can, then that takes a lot of the pressure off of Matt Stafford, and he won't have to throw the football as much, which ultimately results into bad things. And how will they match up versus Victor Cruz? Will they try to combo cover him, bracket him? Will they try to just man up on him the whole game with Rasheem Mathis or maybe Darius Slay? How they match up versus Victor Cruz will ultimately determine how well they do against the Giants passing game. And speaking of the passing game, I think that's the biggest X factor in this matchup for the New York Giants. We know they'll be able to run the football. Running the football is all about attitude and 1-2. I think they'll have some success on the ground, but can they throw the football with consistency, and can Eli Manning avoid the costly turnovers? That's going to be the biggest X factor in this ball game. And the X factor for the Lions will be their tight ends. They have an excellent trio of guys out there in Brandon Pettigrew, who's an outstanding blocker, Joseph Fourier, who's a red zone target, a good receiver, and Eric Ebron, who's more athletic, who's the most athletic out of the three, who's a capable blocker, not as good as Pettigrew, but definitely better than Fourier. And if they can find ways to get all three guys on the field, I think they have a huge advantage versus New York. I like the Lions in this ballgame. I believe Reggie Bush will be the real reason why they're able to come away victorious. His ability to hit a home run from anywhere on the football field, plus what he can bring to the table as a receiver, I think they have the advantage over the Giants linebackers. I look for Reggie Bush to play a huge role in the Lions' victory in Week 1.
What's up, fantasy football fans? I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. For all of your starts, sits, fantasy football notes, news, and tidbits, tune into our podcast, Football Game Plan Starting Lineup, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on our Football Game Plan Radio Network, which is located at blogtalkradio.com/footballgameplan.
And don't forget to check out Football Game Plan's NFL Wraparound live every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time at blogtalkradio.com/footballgameplan, where we give you all of our late-minute and last-minute notes, news, and tidbits and thoughts on each and every game on the NFL schedule. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Lion fan forums and Giant fan forums for always showing Football Game Plan support.